Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lara, or Lara Likes Mascara. Today we are wrapping up with one of my final videos of the year. I think I only have one left after this. So of course I'm very excited for all of the New Year content in 2024. But let's focus for now on 2023 and my life in makeup in 2023, because that is essentially what this is. I have a lot of different projects. I have a project pan, I had a lipstick project pan, a graveyard project pan, but I feel like the two series on my channel, which sort of best reflect what is going on in my life with makeup, are my updates. Usually it's like quarterly updates on how my no buy or low buy is going in my relationship to my collection, but then also this one, my plan to pan series, because this goes on all throughout the year and is really a good reflection on what my collection is looking like and how I am working through the products in my collection. Because my project pan, I find that those products sort of cycle in and out quicker, and with this series I just have so many products in it that it's a really good encapsulation of the year to look at the 20 or 20 odd products that I planned to finish this year and talk about each of them, and if I did indeed manage to finish them or if I decided to declutter them. It's just a good sample size of my collection and the overall products that I have been focusing on most intently throughout the year. So let's talk about it. In the first part of the year, I definitely wasn't making very much progress just because, I started focusing on those things at the beginning of the year. So a couple months of progress wasn't that much, but 12 months of progress was a lot. So as the months ramped up, I had more and more empties every month. And at the point of this update, there were 9 products remaining. So I had 20 products in total that I was trying to finish in this plan to pan series. There were a couple more I had at the beginning of the year, but I finished them up very quickly. So I'm just saying I had 20 products. And as of my last update, I had finished or potentially decluttered. There was a couple of declutters, 11 of them, and I had 9 remaining. And I'm happy to say that going into 2024, I actually haven't counted this yet, but the number of products that I have remaining out of those 20 from the beginning of the year is 5. Out of those 20, 15 have left or are going to leave my collection. So let's talk about each of them individually now. So again, we had 9 products. How do we get down to that 5? Essentially, I had 2 declutters and 2 empties. So I didn't finish all 4 of those, but I'm still happy with what's happening to them, if that makes sense. So let's talk about the empties first. The first one is this CoverGirl Supersizer Waterproof Mascara. This was in my project pan, I believe it was, and I had been working on this all year as a brow gel because it was mostly dried out. When my mascaras get dried out, I don't like to declutter them. Instead, I just repurpose them for a brow gel essentially. But yeah, this had come to the end of its life as I had expected it would. Frankly, a lot earlier. It took longer than I anticipated, but I liked this while I had it, and I'm glad to have one less mascara in my collection. I do have quite a few mascaras. In this Plan to Pan series, I actually started out the year with 5, and I don't regret that. I think that's something that I should continue to do moving forward, even though that's a huge percentage of the overall Plan to Pan. My mascara collection is simply so big that I need to focus on it in the same way that my lipstick collection is so big, and that's why I've had an entire lipstick project pan separately. I'm not going to do a mascara project pan, but I will include quite a few of these in my Plan to Pans and project pans continuing going forward from now. So that's the first empty. The second one is the Kiko lipstick. This was like a grayish mauve color. I really did not like it, but I didn't think I would be able to pass it on to anyone else. And it was an easy enough formula that I could kind of use it as a lip balm. So I just used it up a lot throughout the day. And then I depotted what was remaining in here. And as you can see, this is a different lipstick in here now. Let me show you a little closer. I'm wearing a bit of this on my lips today, but this is actually the Bite lipstick, but I'm just showing you to illustrate that I finished what was in there before which was the Kiko lipstick. So I'm really glad to have finished that. And I actually, in the last couple days where I was just very desperate to get it out, I used it as a blush a couple times because some of you had been like, you use everything as a blush. Why are you not using that lipstick as a blush? It was because it was a weird color, I thought, on my cheeks. But anyways, I tried it out. It wasn't as bad as I expected. It honestly just looked like a light pink. I will insert some pictures here, but I didn't like it. Part of it was also the texture. Some lipsticks work better than others as blush because their texture is more similar to a cream blush, but this one, it was super sticky. Like on my blush brush, I didn't like the way it felt on there. So as soon as I was done, I washed that makeup brush because it just didn't seem like I should be using a brush with that lip product. But I do have that out of my collection, so I'm really glad to have finished those 2 products. And then let's talk about the declutters. The first one, you've definitely seen this before. I have announced many times that this would be leaving my collection at the end of the year, and indeed it is. As I'm filming this right now, it is December 20th, so there's still a handful of days left until the end of the year. So I will probably use this for one last time on New Year's Eve when I'm doing my makeup, and then happily toss it, you know? I will use this until the end of the year, but for all intents and purposes, this is leaving my collection. So that is technically a declutter because I didn't finish it up, but it's just very old, so I don't want to continue its usage. And the other one was an eyeshadow. This one, I was actually delighted to declutter because eyeshadows, you must know, they are some of the most challenging products to finish off because if you have even a handful of eyeshadow palettes, you've then got close to 100 individual pans, and each of those needs to be used dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of times in order to be used up. So I was just glad when I found someone who wanted it. I wasn't like trying to declutter it, that wasn't my intention, but a friend borrowed it and a couple of other eyeshadows, and when she went to return it to me, she told me she really enjoyed it, so I just said, please keep it, I would be so happy. So that was the e.l.f. eyeshadow that honestly I never really liked very much, and I probably should have decluttered it a while ago. I took that as a sign. So those are the 4 products that have already left my collection, but there are 5 more, as I said, that I didn't manage to finish up, so let's talk about my journeys with each of those. These were, I believe, the only hair products in this Plan to Pan series this year. I think just the nature of my cosmetics collection, I have been able to pare down the body care, hair care, and well, not as much skincare. Honestly, this has been a big skincare year for me, but I think it's been effective because my skin actually has been improving. And speaking of which, I said last time I thought maybe this was breaking me out. It wasn't. It wasn't this. But back to my hair products. These are some of the only hair products that I have remaining in my collection because I don't really have backstock except for conditioners, which is the issue with these because they essentially work as conditioners. This is a hair oil and this is a no tangle spray. And my problem was that I always use these after shampooing, once I got out of the shower and I needed to put something in my hair, I chose one of those. But now I always use a conditioner in my hair because it's really faded now, but I tinted my hair red, and so the conditioner I have is a red conditioner and it just sort of maintains the color. So I didn't want to be putting in 2 different products after shampooing because I have very greasy hair. But now what I have figured out that I can do is on the 2nd or 3rd day after I wash my hair, I use the hair oil in the bottom part. So for example, day 1, I wash my hair and then that night I sleep in bathrobe belt curls. When I wake up in the morning, I've been moving all around in bed and my hair doesn't look great. So I find that I put a little bit of this in and it keeps the sort of bottom half of my hair looking a little bit more tamed. So there's not very much of this left. Honestly, maybe 4 uses. It's very hard to tell because this bottle is a dark brown color. It's almost opaque. But I am definitely going to be able to finish the oil. This one is a little bit more tricky because it acts more akin to a conditioner, though I probably will just use this like a hair oil after this one is done. I'll see if I can use it for that purpose, because it has been handy to have another product other than just shampoo and conditioner if I want to make my hair look a little better on like in the days following hair wash day. So those two, expect to see them around next year. Hopefully not for long, but they will be sticking around. Another product is this Merit Highlight Stick, which I really have not been using too much lately because I think it was the last update of this series where I realized how little was left and how quickly I was actually getting through it, because I love this highlight. And so I was trying to sort of slow down how quickly it was getting used up. At the beginning of the year, I thought that my plan was to get it out of my collection before 2024, but now I kind of want to keep this around as long as possible. So I am happy that this is actually something that didn't get used up in the end. It's sort of funny how project pans can do that to us, like make us realize that we enjoy products or find alternate uses, as with these, or as with the lipstick or the mascara as brow gel. Clearly, I love repurposing products and just finding things out about my collection that I wouldn't have otherwise. So yes, this will be sticking around and I am happy about that. The other two products, and these are really the only two that I kind of wish I had managed to finish up this year. These are two mascaras. As I mentioned, I started out the year with 5 mascaras in this Plan to Pan series, and now we're down to these two. What was the fourth one? Maybe we started out with 4, not 5. Yeah, okay. I think we started out with 4, not 5. That is my bad. But anyways, we're down to 2. So half of them are gone. This one is from Clinique. It is waterproof. It is definitely drying up somewhat, but I think this will still take a bit more time to work through. I've been disliking it less so that's good. I am not finding that it's weighing my eyelashes down in the same way as before, but this is still like number 1 most smudgy product. So I only wear this if I'm not really leaving the house. And this one is the Mega Plush Volume Express Waterproof. This has been demoted to a brow gel, which I'm very happy about. It dried out to the point that it just was pretty much useless on my lashes, and so I started using it as a brow gel. This is not the typical kind of wand that you would see as a brow gel, and in fact, because it has this like bendy tip, I don't know how to describe that, when I use it, it like wobbles a little bit, so it's kind of annoying. Let me see if I can show you. Do you see how it's like wobbling? I have added contact solution to this at least once, probably more than that, and I can already tell that it needs a little bit more. It's already drying out, so hopefully within the first few months of 2024 this will be done. I had really hoped to get it out this year, both of these. It didn't happen, but I think I'm close with both of them. So really, of the 5 remaining products, I am not upset. With these, I found uses for them, and with these ones, it'll be soon. Didn't manage to finish them in 2023, but I think it will be fairly soon in 2024. So before we wrap up this video, I just wanted to talk about like my thoughts on how this Plan to Pan series went this year and going forwards. I do intend to do this again next year because, as you can see, it is super productive to me. I learn things about my products and I use them in different ways, and that would not have been the case if I didn't do this kind of thing. But that number, 20, was that unrealistic to have started out with that many? I kind of think that it was. Because yes, I did really well on this year, but I still have 5 products that aren't done. Like, that's a quarter of the products. That's a pretty big chunk. So yes, I think that I was too ambitious in 2023 with how many products I would be able to finish. But I'm not that upset about it because I feel like that was a good learning experience for this next year. And, you know, I am trying to track things better. But for 2022, I don't remember how many things I managed to finish, because I also did a Plan to Pan series then. I know that my goal was 22 items because it was 2022, but I definitely have to track it for this year and tell myself that like, no, I didn't finish 20 products. I finished 15 because I don't have that information from 2022 and it would have been useful. Like, I don't even think that I considered how many products I finished as information to sort of help me figure out how many products I should put in my 2023 Plan to Pan series. You know what I mean? And I think that the number should be similar year to year. Like, I likely did finish around 15 products in 2022. So why did I put 2023 products in 2023? You know, do you understand what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? My partner always says that. It's so annoying. So yeah, next year, I think I'm going to aim for 15 products, somewhere around there. I actually haven't worked out which products will be in my Plan to Pan series yet. I have worked out which items will be in my Project Pan series, but not in my like year-long panning series. That's going to be a surprise for both of us, but I will definitely keep that in mind. And even looking back on my previous videos in this series from earlier on in the year, like my note from the beginning of 2023 was my estimate was 12 out of 24 minimum. So I was thinking I would finish half, but I clearly didn't know if it would be that much more than half. And then even in my last update video, which was about 2 months ago, I think it was like end of October, I said I thought that I would finish 2/3 of the products, so 13-ish, and I actually overshot that, which is great. But it seems like at no point did I think that I would actually manage to finish all of them. And if that was the case, like why did I put them all in? I didn't think it was reasonable to expect them all to be done. Like I want these goals to be reasonable. So all that to say, 2024, mark my words, I'm going to have around 15 products in this project. But I think that was everything that I wanted to talk about today. We can do a little recap of everything that I finished in this series because I've got that information here. But I had a Baby Lips that I finished. I had another waterproof CoverGirl mascara that I was using as brow gel that I finished. And of course, this one, that's 3. I had the Kiko lipstick that I finished. I had a lip butter. It was in Sweetheart from Revlon that I finished. We've got the primer. That is 6, the Becca one. We've got the Merit foundation, 2 ColourPop eyeshadows, which I essentially decluttered, but it was because they were too dried out. I couldn't even pass them on to anyone else. I had a lip liner from Estee Lauder that I finished. We're at 10. I had an older Revlon lipstick that I really didn't like, 11. A lip balm, this was like the circular one, if you recall. Did not like that format, 12. The oil blotting sheets from e.l.f., those I actually quite liked, but they were just so old. 13. The e.l.f. single eyeshadow, which I decluttered, and the little mini perfume samples that I finished this summer. So there we are. That was 15, right? Was that 16? That was actually 16. So maybe my accounting was incorrect. Even though I try to track things better, somehow I always have the numbers a little bit off. But that was it for this Plan to Pan series. Come back later in January to see what I will be planning in 2024. Will some of these be in there? I'll try not to, but maybe a couple of them. But yeah, thanks for watching, and let's talk about a book that I've been reading lately. A physical book. I'm so happy to report on this. I went to a library recently, and I was able to find some books that were on my list because the Toronto Public Library online services have been down, so I haven't been able to request any videos from my holds list or even access my library account online in months since October. It's been horrible, but I'm really glad to be reading this because I've had it on my wish list since 2020. I believe that is when it came out. I had this on my radar because I had read her previous book, Homegoing, which was a huge hit, deservedly so. Yeah, 2020. This one is Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Gyasi, and this is the author's second book. Homegoing was her first book. I will insert a picture of that one here. But this is about a young Black woman from Ghana whose parents immigrate to the US when I think it was when her brother was young, but she was actually born in the US. And so it's kind of an immigration story, but it's also a family story. It's her relationships with her family and how it kind of falls apart, and her fixation on her work. She is a neuroscientist at Stanford. She's doing her PhD, and how that sort of consumes her and how she allows it to distract her from the rest of her life. Like, that sort of takes over her life. And so because she has so much that she has dealt with in her life, she just doesn't want to face that. And so her entire life becomes her work. It's really well written. It's very engaging. It is dark in a way, but she's such an interesting character. And I love the way that her family is portrayed and her childhood. And yeah, I'm really liking this. Homegoing was very heavy and hard to read. This is obviously not the same, but it still deals with heavy topics. But I would definitely recommend this. I'm about halfway through now. But that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this Plan to Pan series for 2023. I think it was Sarah Rose who came up with this series, this topic. So of course, thank you to her. I probably should have mentioned that earlier on in the video, but yeah, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you next week. Oh, and when's Christmas? For those of you who celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a good one. I think it's in a couple days from when this is uploaded. Yeah, have a great holiday season.